Ladies and gentlemen, there is this big lie that is being told among white people about us needing them. But I'm going to show you in present day and in the past how that is not even possibly true. They need us, all right? And they need melanated people to do the labor because they either are too lazy to do it themselves or they simply can't do it because that pale skin just don't hold up very well in the sun. So I get them talking about y'all would starve if it wasn't for us. No, that's not true. That's not true, Black people. Don't ever be scared of them saying these things because, as I said before, who the hell took care of the crops during slavery? It sure as hell wasn't no goddamn slave master. It was the slaves. Okay, if they knew how to take care of crops, common sense would tell you then they should not have needed to run for slaves. It should have been enough white people to go out in the fields and do what need to be done. But we see that's not even happening in present day. Now, these are recent stories that I'm going to show you first, and then we're going to kind of take it back through history. 13 million in crops rotted in California because no one wanted to pick them. See, the migrant workers left the farm. They left the farm. And when they left the farm, ladies and gentlemen, white people lost their whole crops. Now, wouldn't someone that claimed they got a high IQ take their ass out there and do the work themselves, gather their friends and their families and go out there and save the crop? After all, it was worth $13 million. You would think you would have gone above and beyond to save that. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Many California farmers in 2017 lost their entire crop because there was a labor shortage. And these were white-owned farms. So why didn't these very capable white people that are so smart and know it all and know everything, why didn't they get their asses out there and save their $13 million crop from rotting? They couldn't. They couldn't. You would think in recent times nobody would be losing crops out here, but they are. A lot, ladies and gentlemen. The states that it happens in the most are California, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. It seems to consistently happen in many of the southern states every single year. Every year, white-owned farms lose their entire crop. Instead of getting their asses out there and saving their own crop, they are depending upon melanated people. And at the same time, they're telling you, you need them. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Now, here we go. I know this, come on. California crops rot as immigration crackdown creates farm worker shortage. Again, why didn't you do your own work, white people? You claim you don't need nobody. You got all this intelligence and high IQ. And this was August 8th, 2017. And let me look at this other story. This other story came out in July. So July and August. We've already learned that losing immigrant farm workers is a disaster. This came out March 10th, 2017. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, undocumented workers were not there. to work the farms, and they lost everything. Here's the rotted tomatoes on the ground. Okay, now where's all these very capable white people that don't need nobody and everybody is dependent on you? And ladies and gentlemen, this happened in Alabama in 2011 too. All right, so without undocumented migrants, these folks sit around and lose their whole farm every single year. Every year this happens. To keep crops from rotting in the field, farm workers say they need Trump to let in more temporary workers. Wait a minute, white people. You don't need nobody. Get the white people out there to do it. You don't need nobody. You see how disingenuous these folks are? But they are in your face talking about somebody need them. What would America's food supply look like without immigrant labor, which was formerly slave labor? Okay, so again, whenever they lose the undocumented workers, America lose their farms. In this day and age, y'all. It's another article that came out January 31st, 2017. June 22nd, 2017. Labor shortage leaves crops to rot. Again, why are the people with the high IQs not out there doing this work? This one is June 22nd, 2011. Georgia. Immigrant crackdown backfires. They lose their crops. Whole crop rots. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? Do you think they don't need somebody? All right. So this again, Alabama immigration crops rot as workers vanish to avoid crackdown. So these workers are running because they do not want to be caught by ICE. So many of them are running from these farms. And when they run, guess what happens? Everything rots. These are white-owned farms, ladies and gentlemen. Why aren't the white people going out there to save their crops? So 65 Hispanic men picking tomatoes left in fear of being taken by ICE. And these white farmers lost everything. This is Alabama. Alabama, y'all. See, I'm showing you this for a reason. See, they can't live without melanated people. They can't live without you. But they are trying to twist everything around and make you believe that you need them. There is no possible way you're going to make it without them. This is April. Sorry about that. These ads are getting on my nerve. Well, anyway, that was one April 2018 where another crop was lost because all of the migrant workers had left due to a crackdown from ICE. This is the UK. I'm trying to show you how even over in the UK, this is the fact. So without migrant workers, these are many of the workers that come in there from Africa. And they are the migrant workers over there in Britain. They lose their crops when they walk away. Again, where are the white Brits to go out there and do the work? Where are they? Why are you letting your crops rot? Migrant shortage leaves fruit rotten. UK farms. Again, they are dependent upon the melanated people, y'all. That's who they depend on to do this work. So as you can see, even over in Great Britain, this is the case. When the melanated ones aren't there to do the work, they lose everything. Here we go. Intrepid report. Farmers face fields of rotted crops as Trump rounds up illegal immigrants. And this is the strawberry crop down in Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Rotted. March 3rd, 2017. Remember, they claim we need them, though. We need them. Now, if you remember, there was this Louisiana sheriff that was whining against the release of prisons because who's going to do the work? I'm sure you remember this. Well, we got to have them here because who's going to cook and wash the cars and clean? These are the good workers. These are the good ones. They do the work. Remember that, sheriff? Okay, see, the bad ones that he's talking about, those are the ones that won't do the work. Those are the prisoners that will not do their slave labor in jail. So he's opposed to letting people that serve their time and really should be released. He is opposed. This is the dude right here. He's opposed to them being released because who's going to do the work? So he wants to hold up black men that are in these prisons because who's going to do the work, y'all? Who's going to do the work? But let's listen to him again. Let's see.
Place out there. I don't want state prisoners, okay? They are a necessary evil to keep the doors open, that we keep a few or keep some out there. And that's the ones that you can work. That's the ones that can pick up trash, the work release programs. But guess what? Those are the ones that they're releasing. In addition to the bad ones, and I call these bad, in addition to them, they're releasing some good ones that we use every day to wash cars, to change oil in our cars, to cook in the kitchen, to do all that where we save money. Well, they're going to let them out.
You hear that? He sounds just like somebody from the goddamn plantation. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the point I'm driving home. White people keep trying to insist that they are the ones that everybody need, but I'm showing you they need you. Without the melanated people here, there would be no America. And he's not alone. This is how they feel in all of these jails around America. If we don't have these black men in here to do this work, then, economically, we fall if we don't have them in here. That's exactly what he's saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, just understand there would be no economy in America without us. America's Reconstruction. During Reconstruction, remember, the South collapsed after the slaves left the plantation. Farms were foreclosed on. They could not grow any crops. There was no harvest down there because no work was being done. But see, again, white people claim they can do it all without everybody. Well, how come they didn't during the Reconstruction? See, this was the time, ladies and gentlemen, they came up with sharecropping. Who were the sharecroppers? Black men. How come they couldn't save themselves all by themselves after slavery was over? Why did they have to come up with the prison system and sharecropping to make up for what they lost? I'm showing you there has never been a time period in America when whites did not lean on the darker people to get the work done. Reconstruction, prison, and sharecropping happened. And those prisoners were used to do railroad work, farm work, work with livestock, build, anything that needed to be done. What I'm also showing you is their bodies are not made to do this work. That's why all throughout history, you will see them with rotted crops and work not getting done because technically they can't do it, but they are not going to admit this to you. But we already see what their skin look like when they get burnt in the sun. They can't do this work, ladies and gentlemen. They are at a major disadvantage with that pale skin. We already know this. Foreclosures. Foreclosures on farms during the Great Depression. Now remember, Black Wall Street was going strong. So while Black economy in the Black community was just going through the roof, these folks during the same time period were getting foreclosed on and losing their entire crops. How come white people didn't pull yourself up by the bootstraps like Black people did? Black people built Black Wall Street with no loans and no help from white society at all. They did that all by themselves. Black people built 200 towns after slavery because they knew they couldn't live around whites. So they built their own towns, and white mobs went in there and burnt all those towns down because those Black people were making it. Those Black people did pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and they were making it, and they couldn't stand it because during those periods of time when they were torching our towns, they were losing everything. And at the same time, coming into Black towns to gain their wealth, stealing the land, stealing the homes, stealing the bank accounts, stealing the businesses. And at the same time, looking you in the face, talking about pull yourself up by the bootstraps. If that's not the most laughable thing you ever heard in your life, they never pulled themselves up by the bootstraps, ladies and gentlemen. When they first came to America, they got free land. They had the Head Right program where they got hundreds of acres, and some of them got 1,000 acres in free land. When did they ever pull themselves up by the bootstraps? Slavery, rooted in prison exploitation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Black men that are fueling the economy from prison. And it is the biggest reason why they got to keep stuffing Black men in there to do the prison labor. Without prison labor, Americans, this economy would fall. You are not committing all these crimes they're talking about. Every time they put you in prison, they are making money. It ain't got nothing to do with crime. Prison has nothing to do with crime in America. Prison is a very lucrative business and corporation in America. It's a money machine. So they have masterminded this bullshit about at the same time telling you you're a criminal and stuffing you in these jails to get the prison labor done. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, when they grab a Black man, whether he's innocent or not, that's irrelevant. They don't care about putting innocent people in because, see, they have contracts with these states to keep the prisons at 90% capacity. So that means they're going to have to snatch up people that are innocent and throw you in there to make sure the work is constantly flowing. This is why, I'm going to say this again, there has never been no big outcry in America about putting innocent people in jail. I read an article when I was doing my story on prison labor and showing you all of the corporations that take advantage of prison labor. They project that 49% of the people in prison in America are innocent. Now, that should be alarming to anybody. Why aren't they getting those folks out? Because they need them in there to do this labor. So as far as Black America is concerned, you're screwed whether you commit a crime or not. This is why they've gone out of their way to point at the Black community and scream criminal when white people are not in any position to call no goddamn body a criminal. It's been nothing but criminal activity from them from day one all the way up until now. "40 reasons why our jails are full of Black and poor people." All right. It's full of Black and poor people, again, for one reason: money. Money. Okay. They stop you. They create a situation. You get upset. They throw you on the ground, handcuff you. You're now in the system. You are stuck, and you have to do their prison labor now. Okay, poor people can't fight their way out of these situations. And Black people, remember, I told you how Phil had a Latino cop that he interviewed on his show. And he said they target Black 14 to 21-year-olds to put in jail. He didn't say, "We are targeting the criminals." That's not what he said. He said, "We are targeting the 14 to 20-year-old Black males." So prison has nothing to do with crime in America. The prisons are there to gain profits, very much in the same way that they brought slaves in to gain profit down in the South and really all over the country. It's a misnomer for them to tell you slavery was in the South, because slavery was in New York, slavery was here in New Jersey, it was in the Midwest, it was everywhere. But they want you to believe it's just one of them Southern things, and that's also a lie. But ladies and gentlemen, America only exists because of those of us that are melanated. The existence of America has never depended on white people. Never. It's always depended upon us. But they try to convince everybody that they are the ones that are needed. It's not so. Your crops would not rot if you didn't need anybody. And number two, look at the history. When Marcus Garvey was trying to get people out of here, why did they shut him down if they didn't need nobody? Wouldn't they have let everybody go that wanted to leave? No, they shut him down. Okay, they shut him down. They stopped him. So don't believe the hype when they try to act like and put on airs like we need them, when all throughout history, We see their failure without us. We saw their failure after the slaves left the plantation. We saw their failure through the Great Depression. And you can see their failure now with the rotted crops after the immigrant workers leave because they are in fear of ICE showing up on those farms. Their crops are rotting. Please leave your comments and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.